Okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
My recording has begun. Testing, testing, one, two.
As has mine, you fucking show off. Yeah.
Okay, so you've had a busy day.
I no, my day hasn't been that busy. I mean,
Okay.
I've just been like, I'm fucking with my gain mid-recording, which is not smart. Okay,
Do
that's
you see this risk? Do you see this risk?
I live risk. So- but yeah, no, my day wasn't that bad. I mean, I woke up at like an early time, like at 6, I think, and then I like doom scrolled for a bit, and then
Okay.
I like showered and stuff, and then I was grinding some shared stuff for the
Yeah.
past like most of the day or all of the day, other than
Okay.
the gym I just came back from. It's quite cool because I'm like almost done with this update, which is
Nice.
daunting because like now I have to. One of the parts of this of 3.0 is that I'm changing the link provider I use
Okay.
because I'm currently using. So when you send a shared link,
Mm.
it's actually just whatever the original services link was, but wrapped in a thing that opens in shared
Mm.
so that I can figure out what the other services are or the app can. And I was using Firebase dynamic links and they are shutting down on August 25th, I think.
Interesting.
So today after this recording, after I eat and stuff, I am going to do that part of the replacement. And then there's just like a tiny few other things I have to do. But then the next part is like, okay, now I have to like redo all my App Store screenshots.
Mm.
I want to write about it again. So
Nice.
I need to write an article and I want to get this all out before I leave
The
to the
US.
US of A on Labor Day. So I have like just over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, but I can do it. I have faith. Yeah.
I back you, but that's a lot of work, man. That's a lot of work.
I started like end of December. Yeah.
Additionally,
We'll not start anyway. Yes,
yeah,
additionally.
you're walking into the pits that is the United States of America. The
Bro, will I even be allowed to walk in?
You're like walking into the trenches here.
I listened to this podcast, this Guardian episode. I need to ask how your Saturday was too, but I listened to this Sunday. That's today. This Guardian episode about like the difficulties in entering the USA now,
Mm.
and apparently they're checking people's social media and phones at the border
They
to see if they've
are.
said anything bad about the president. And like they don't even need to do that about me. Like they can literally just Google. They can hit up Google, type in my name and surname, find that I'm on this podcast called Pink Nose. Oh, what was the like third last episode he did? It was about Palestine. What? Let's just see what he. Oh, he says a lot of things that this administration doesn't agree with. You know
Holy
what?
shit,
Denied.
man.
But like something that like that like gives me comfort, dumb comfort, who knows?
Yeah.
Like fucking dumb hope is that I got the visa.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that's good.
And they could have figured all of that out before I got the visa. They could have said no at the visa step
Right,
because
right.
my previous visa had expired like 5 years ago, so I
Yeah.
had to do the interview.
Yeah.
And that all went fine. So I assume either like whoever at state was handling my application or the I don't know which department does
We'll just trust that, like,
whatever system that does that thing didn't pick up anything wrong.
yeah.
And I don't like. I mean, like, I haven't done anything wrong in the sense of like a normal administration. You know, like
Right.
political dissent is a thing that like the administration should accept.
Right.
It's like free speech, isn't that the whole thing?
Yeah. Except we have fascism going on here, so.
Look, I don't. I am not going to co-sign that. Actually, no. This will probably arrive. Like, this will probably be out like once I'm either back or
Yeah,
once
this will
I'm
be
there.
out once
If
you're
I'm
back,
there, that'll
man.
be interesting. But also, yeah, no worries then. Yeah, no, fuck fascism, bro. Fuck.
As soon
Oh,
as he
finally
knows,
can say
now
that.
I'll be
Oh.
out the country. Fuck that shit. We won't post it until you're on South African soil, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's so hilarious, man. Fuck.
But how's your
It
how's your
is.
Sunday been? Oh wait, keep going.
No, I was just gonna say it is kind of scary to think about that stuff, but to be honest, yeah, we don't have to talk about it right now. I'm kind of overhearing about it, to be honest. There's just so much going on. You know, it's like the rate of bullshit that's going on is outpacing our ability to like process it, log it, analyze it, and then like
100%.
properly internalize what is actually happening. And that's
Yeah.
what makes it so fucked. But my weekend, I had a good weekend. I had a quiet weekend. I've got a lot to do over the next couple of weeks. I've got a proposal to submit to the doctoral committee. So that's going to be taking up the majority of my time. So I thought this weekend, let me just detach, let me just relax, let me chill, let me watch a bunch of series, let me just like
Let me just not do the bunch of shit I have to do this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me give myself a break.
Yeah, I'm mentally preparing for the shit that's coming by doing nothing so that I can feel less sort of, I suppose, stressed. But like next week when I have like, well, there's going to be moments where I want to just like chill and do nothing, but I'm not going to be able to because I have to focus on this. And I just wanted to like take advantage of that. By the way, this tactic never works.
Yeah.
I always feel shit in the week. I'm always like, no, I just want to rest though. I just want to watch something. I just want to do something fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like, it allows me to like feel like I've achieved some sort of rest period. You know what I mean? Like just some little inkling of like, yeah, you've rested now, so you can justify not resting later.
Yeah.
But the way my brain works, I'm still going to punish myself for, you know, like basically not taking the time now to do work.
Yes.
I was literally, today I was standing in the shower and I was going, yeah, but you could just like start working now and then you can be done earlier. And I was like, just fucking stop. Just shut up. Just have your day.
Yeah,
man.
you're smart. You're smart. Yeah.
I'm like, just have your day. You gotta have it, man. I feel like, especially after our grind set podcast, it would be a bit, I don't know, not hypocritical, I guess, because we already established that we're not necessarily grind set folks, but I do need to listen to my own advice sometimes, basically, is what I've taken from this weekend. So yeah, even now I was still chilling. I was
not alone.
I don't know, have you seen Only Murders in the Building?
Have I seen Only Murders? Have you breathed air? Yeah, I have. I believe I'm up to date. I think I might have missed like I at some point I caught up and then they stopped releasing new episodes. I don't if there have been new episodes since then, I'm not up to date, but I believe I'm up to date.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Ooh, so you don't know that they all die in a fire at the end?
Oh, shut up. It would defeat the whole purpose of the whole show. Although 4 seasons seems like enough that they would actually do something crazy like that. But I only started this show. So I got Disney Plus recently, which somebody called me out for. They were like, boycott. And I was like, fair enough. But I haven't eaten McDonald's in like 2 years. So I feel like that's boycott enough. And Only Murders in the Building was there. And I was like, I've actually always wanted to watch this. I've just always been too lazy to like go find a link to watch it on.
Sure.
So now that it's there, I was like, let me just put it on. So I started season 1 2 weeks ago.
But it's been there the whole time. Oh,
I just recently got Disney Plus. Yeah.
So it wasn't always there the whole time.
Like the convenience of it.
You could have asked me. You didn't even. You could literally just. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I know. Sometimes it's like
you got it, spend it.
it's those moments where I realize that people really do just pay for convenience. Because if I really wanted to, I know there's maybe like 5 different people in my life who I could have been like, hey, what's your Disney Plus thing so I can watch the show, and yet I didn't. I was like, I'd rather just pay for it to have it in front of me instead of the inconvenience of asking my friends for their Disney Plus password.
I get that. I lived that life for a bit too.
But I started season 1 2 weeks ago, and I loved season 1 so much. I watched the whole season in 2 days, illegally. And by illegally, I mean I literally didn't actually have time to do that. I just did it because I enjoyed it so much.
Lovely.
So I was like eating away at my work time, and so I had to promise myself that when I start season 2, I won't do the same thing again. And then I proceeded to do the same thing again, except instead of 5 episodes each day, I spaced it out. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do 3 episodes and that's it. And then I'll have to wait until like at least 2 days from now, watch 3 episodes and then.
Wait, how long are these episodes? Are they 40-minute episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
So this is the thing. I'm not even eating into my own like day work time. I'm eating into my sleep time, really.
Who needs that?
Because it's like I don't have time during the day to do this. So it's like when I get home from like campus, I'm like so maxed out that I'm like, all I want to do is just make food, sit down and watch something. The problem is then there's a psychological thing, I forgot what it's called, but it's where you start stealing time from your bedtime so that you can actually have some leisure time. I was doing that for Only Murders in the Building. So for those listeners, and now I'm on season 3. So for those listeners who are curious about the show, actually, how does one explain it? Do you want to take a shot at explaining it?
Well, there's a murder in the building. Who would have guessed?
Who would have thunk it?
And does it start off with them doing competing podcasts and then they do their own? They then come together?
No.
Or does it start off with them? Because there's a point, you see, I don't want to keep talking because I might be spoiling something.
Okay.
But yeah, so they're like 3 buddies in a hotel, in an apartment.
Yeah.
Mabel is played by Selena Gomez, and the other 2, one is Name's escaping me, but they're two other older men.
Martin Short
Yes.
and the guy from Cheaper by the Dozen. Is how I always remember him.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
As you do. I don't know cheaper by the dozen. I mean, I think things are cheaper if you buy them individually. Like, I don't know what you mean. Like 12. What if I just bought one? That was like 12
Such a dad joke. Such a dad joke.
Bro, have you listened to about 18 minutes before we had like so many dad jokes?
I know.
But yeah, so they start a podcast in which they're trying to solve this murder.
Right.
And that is the premise of the show. I think that's the setup.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
I guess there's a dynamic where like Mabel is a millennial, and the other two gents are like old.
yeah.
I think, one of them's famous, one of them's less famous, and Mabel's just like a regular person.
Yeah, true. She is just some guy.
So the most famous person out of the show is the least famous person in the show.
Yeah.
But eventually their podcast becomes really popular, and then I guess they all become somewhat famous.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And then it just kind of keeps dovetailing into that. There was a certain point where I was wondering like how many murders can happen around these three people before it actually starts getting fishy. But I think the show does a really good job at like showing you how it can happen, like the ridiculousness of it can just keep going. Because I was like, after season 1, I was like, how does this bit continue? How do people keep dying in this same fucking building, like in the same apartment building? But the show has done a really good job at like twisting who is dying, why they're dying, who's coming in, and so on and so forth. So it like each season, for me at least, it's become a challenge because I thought they would do the formula of like, let's just take the same formula in season 1 and do it in season 2. But they didn't. And that was really good for me because I was like, oh, now it's making it more challenging to figure out who actually did this. And I'm hoping season 3 and 4 are kind of the same, where it's like, it's something very different that I can't like sort of follow the same formula as season 1 and 2. But it is really funny. It's a really good show.
It is. But I don't think you should worry about like, Disney loves reusing IP. Disney loves like, I mean, look at what's that like Grey's Anatomy? How many seasons are they on? Like
Right.
50,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Avengers, we just got another. Like, do not worry. You know, as long I think that if people want another Only Murders, Disney will find let's say creative, because I like the people involved in this project, way to extend the season. Oh, to extend the show. So we'll be fine. Fine.
Yeah.
There'll still be murders to solve.
Yeah, they also just keep
There are
getting...
a lot of blocks in that building.
Yeah, they also just...
And there's more like... I am not going to continue with what I was going to say.
No, go for it.
No, it's a spoiler.
Oh, I see. I love that you just caught yourself and you're like, holy shit, I cannot say that at all. Thank you. I appreciate the restraint though, because I actually do love that. Usually, like, if it's a show that I have like no interest in, but I'm only watching because I've started like watching it and I'm like already in too deep, I don't mind spoilers. But it's when I'm actually enjoying it that I'm like, don't give it to me because now I'm gonna...
I love how you're already in too deep by choice.
Yeah. Wait, into deep by choice. In the last episode, we established, or at least you established, that you could only get through like specific minutes of certain shows. So Severance was the one that you were doing at the time. Is there a show that you're watching currently?
At the moment, yeah. So at the moment, I'm watching White Lotus.
White Lotus.
You actually cut out audio for me, so I just assumed you were going to ask that question. So I'm busy with White Lotus. I think I'm on episode... You're up to date, right?
No, I don't watch White Lotus.
Okay, cool. So if listeners, if you're not up to date, I am on the episode where there was a full moon party. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that show's very, like, I loved the first 2, I want to say season. My brain doesn't work correctly here. I think we're on season 3 now. Maybe we're on season 2, who knows?
No, season 3.
No, we were in Hawaii the last season. No, yeah, 3, yeah, because it was Hawaii, then Italy, now we're here. In Thailand. And... oh, there's some creative, some good writing, some interesting characters. Like, I mean, one of the characters is a hedge fund guy who is in shit for embezzling money, I think. So there's some financial scandal that happened, but the news broke when they were on holiday. So he's like, and also the whole family gave up their phones because this is the kind of retreat it is. This is the kind of hotel it is. It's like a spiritual getaway.
Oh, I see. So he didn't hear about it.
No, he did. He got his phone. He heard about it. And then when it, like, I guess it came time to like explain why. Yeah. So what was happening was his son works in the same office, works at his company, and his son was getting calls from one of his colleagues, and his dad was just like, no, don't worry, just ignore it, just ignore it. And this was after they had all been like, no, we're going to keep our phones, we're not going to give our phones in.
Yeah.
And at this point, the dad is like, let's just give in our phones. Let's do it. Because that means that I don't have to tell my family that their whole lives are about to change. That, like I might go to our lives will not be the same.
Yeah, it will not be this.
I don't have to do that. I can just delay that and delay and delay and like maybe like steal a gun and maybe like do something with it. I don't know what he's gonna do with it, but yeah. So that's I mean, there's this one. Yes.
How have you stayed away from spoilers? You on Twitter very frequently. I've seen spoilers on Twitter.
I think there's some words I might have blocked. No, I saw a spoiler about all this. The only spoiler I saw was, I think, about like the two brothers, like if they're going to do something.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're going to, like, I don't remember what the internet said. I don't think they had said that like, ooh, they did or ooh, they didn't. But like on episode 1, I was like, oh, something might happen here. Yeah. It hasn't impacted my enjoyment of the series.
Okay, good.
But this is a spoiler, listeners. It's about this insane. So they're at dinner, right? So set up. They are in Thailand because this family with a dad hedge fund guy.
Yeah.
They're supposedly there so that their daughter. There's a family of 3. She's the middle child. I think she just graduated high school, and she wants to interview this monk for her thesis or whatever. Actually, maybe she didn't just graduate high school. But anyway, interview this monk for thesis. At least that's what she tells them. She tells them that I want to go here to visit this monk. And they're like, I think she's like a daddy's girl, I think. So they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to pay like insane amounts of money to come to Thailand so that you can like interview this monk person. Turns out she's not there to interview this monk person. She's there to check this place out so that she can move there next year.
Oh, shit.
Now, that's insane. But even further, like we get to the point where she first tells her brother, the younger brother, and that goes like fine, I guess, because I guess he's like, well, what about me? And then she's like, you'll be in senior, or yes, you'll be whatever. It's like whatever.
Yeah, like you'll be
now
okay.
She's telling the family at dinner. I mean, it's just the 3 of them. Sorry, because the 2 brothers are off on some boat having fun, and she tells them and. Like, it's quite interesting because they have like this, the mom and her, because the dad's busy like trying to figure out like what is happening in my life. Like, you understand, can I even pay for you to come here? You know, he might be like, well, that's not a problem, babes, don't worry. But like, she's explaining how like, this is something that she's interested in and like, she's trying to justify what she's done. But she reeks of entitlement. It's just like, do you not realize that like, you lied to get your family to travel, spend so much money to travel to the other side of the world so you can just like check this place out.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how much money was spent doing this? Do you know that like, or like are you fucking like insane? You know? And like you watch this and the mom like isn't the type of mom to like, she's not a good, like she doesn't have good politics. She has shit politics.
Of course.
But like you can't help but you, and the daughter has somewhat good politics for like a bubbled, like, I don't know, super rich girl. But like, she thinks what she's doing is fine. The mom's just like, no, this is insane. Like, this is like, what are you, like, the mom brings up good points. Like, okay, so no one speaks English, like, but it's like, you, mom, are someone who we shouldn't, me as like a good person, I should be on the daughter's side. But what she's actually done is so ridiculous that I'm on your side.
Right.
And like...
like, you've made me side with the devil here.
Yeah. I mean, it says she hides her purse underneath, so they go onto their yacht. So they get invited onto this couple's yacht.
Yeah.
And she's like, where can I put my purse? I think she's kind of racist. She's racist. She's like, where can I put my purse? And I do believe, like, is Natalie Portman like... No, she's completely British. I don't know, there's some, maybe she had like some bit of like spice. Maybe she could have been like, I don't know, Middle Eastern or something.
Yeah.
But she's the girlfriend of the boat owner guy. And so she's like, where can I put my purse? Is there like, and then she's like, anywhere. Massive yacht.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of dollars, I'd assume.
Yeah.
One could only.
Just put it down. Yeah.
and she's like, okay. Then the owner, the hostess, she goes upstairs and she hides the purse underneath a pillow and is like to her husband, do you think it's safe?
What?
Bitch, look where you are. Like, these people could probably buy you.
Yeah.
They buy your whole life. And you're busy asking, like, am I safe? Like, are you crazy? And then on top of that, right, she thinks that someone's been stealing her pills, which
Oh
someone has,
my
but that someone
God.
is the father who's
Oh
taking these pills to cope
my
with his fucking
God.
anxiety and
Yeah.
fears about like what's gonna happen next. So
Yeah.
it's like the fox is in the house, or whatever that expression
Yes.
is. Like
Yeah.
whatever theft you're scared of is being done by the person who gave you your three kids with you. You guys made them
Right.
together. Like the threat is inside. It's coming
Holy
from inside the
shit,
house. What is
man.
the so a lot
Yeah.
of things happening in this season, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly. That's a fascinating show. I think they do tend to go into class politics a lot, right? I watched season one, and they did the sort of class dynamics so well, the sort of apathy from the wealthy so well, that that show pissed me off so much that I literally can't bring myself to watch it anymore. I literally know I'm going to get so
Yeah.
ungodly, this level of ungodly anger that I felt in season one. I know I'm going to experience it again in season two and in season three and whatever the fuck, however many seasons they decide to go on. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it. I know what the show is saying. I don't need. It's not for me. This isn't. I'm not the audience for the show. Like, I'm not the one who needs to learn from this shit. But something you brought up just now from you describing that person who like walks in there and is like, "Do you think this will be safe?" There's something very interesting. I was having a conversation with recently about the type of people who see themselves as existing in a class, or at least a class level financially, that they actually don't exist in. And then they will look down on other people and act as though those people are somehow beneath them, even while they exist pretty much in the same sort of.
They just earn a bit more, or
Yes.
even a lot more.
Yes.
But you have the same relationship to capital.
You're pretty much in the you're pretty much in the same bracket. Like, so for example, like I know I've had a couple encounters with people who might look down on folks who might, like, I don't know, shop at like Pick and Pay. Mind you, Pick and Pay is like very like middle to upper middle income. Like, it's fine. It's not like,
Sure.
yeah. But they'll look at Pick and Pay as though it's this like thing that's like beneath them, and it's like, but you shop at Pick and Pay. What do you like?
Yeah. And that also used to
Like,
be Checkers, though. Checkers used to have
right.
that rap. And like, it's not.
Yes.
Anyway, you're telling your story. Sorry.
Yeah. No. You're right though. Checkers did used to have that rank. I feel like Checkers has bougied itself up a little bit. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
they're trying.
it's like yeah,
They're
it's
succeeding, I mean, but
it's
yeah.
slowly but surely scaling up that ladder. But like, I'm using the shopping supermarkets,
yes,
whatever,
yes,
as
to
just
tell a story.
as an example. But like, this idea that like there's certain people who might look down upon other people for behaving a certain way or buying certain things or whatever it might be, when they're actually pretty much in the same fucking boat. So for example, like, even when we were at school, you know, being at Bishop's doesn't necessarily mean your parents are ultra wealthy. It just means your
Yeah.
parents managed to afford the school fees for that year.
Doesn't necessarily have to mean that, too. It could mean they couldn't afford them, or like,
Exactly. So chanting like one day you'll work for us to opposing schools is like, you don't know who in that crowd is actually wealthier than you.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you chanting for? Like they might be wealthier
and why
than
is
you.
that a
They
chant
just
worth saying? Like, what are you
yeah,
talking about, bro?
like
And don't your parents work for someone? Chances are your parents work for someone too.
right,
So, like,
exactly. So it's this weird like dynamic of like, and so in your example, it's like you're on a boat where these people can buy your entire life, and you still have the audacity to be like, is it going to be safe? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. Like, it's like, this isn't your world, man. Like, you're pretending to be someone that they are. They're already there. What
Yeah.
you're pretending to be is their reality. Don't
What's
fucking try
crazy is
to-
that, like,
yeah,
to go on to like they're already there.
yeah.
In the previous season, he was. Do you remember Tanya? What was her name? Tanya. What was her actual? What's her Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh yes,
She was an heiress. That was her.
yeah.
She dies in season 2.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
I saw that. Yeah.
Greg takes the money, or some money. I don't know how much. That's her money. That's Greg's boat.
Right.
And that's her money. So that probably was her boat. So it's not even so like. And we also don't know how like entitled he is to that money, because someone has said that, like in the show, said that the police are looking to find him, and he's in Thailand. His name's not Greg in Thailand. His name is Gary or something.
Oh shit.
And the only reason he's been found out as a Greg is because a character from the previous season is also here, and she was like, "Wait, I recognize this guy."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "No, I don't know you." And
Is it the black woman?
yeah.
Yes.
And then she eventually Googles and she's like, wait, this is you.
This is
But
you.
she thinks he killed her, which
Oh, I see.
he didn't.
Yeah, of
But
course, yeah.
that's what she's under I mean, why else hide you? Like, why are you doing this if you
Yeah.
didn't do the thing?
Yeah.
Why don't you just let the cops question you? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Holy shit, man. That's so fucking. I've never actually no, I have been more angry. Succession was one of the shows that managed to get me as angry. But there's a certain thing that White Lotus managed to like achieve, which is like show the true evil nature of these people, which is that they're not actually evil. They're just so fucking dumb, and they live in these like they live in a glass case, this world that really doesn't like they have no consequences basically.
Yeah.
And because they have no consequences, the rest of the world doesn't look the same to them.
Yeah.
So you can't even be like they're evil on purpose. They're evil by mistake. They're like evil by situation.
They're ignorant. They don't know anything evil.
Oh, but yes, exactly. And that burns me, man. That fucking this is because it's like if you're gonna do some evil shit, at least like know it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
God, that show is frustrating. But that's obviously why it's good. So
That reminds me, what you just said reminds me of, because this is actually very not smart of me to bring up because I don't really remember the details. But someone who used to work at Meta, she worked for, I think under Sheryl Sandberg, I think that's her surname, and Zuckerberg, I guess. But in this is also me recounting what I heard other people recount on a podcast. I think a few anyway. But like there was this one part where I think it's Zuckerberg, I don't know, had like an exact copy of his house built somewhere else because he was scared of the Zika virus.
that is wild.
And then there was this, he was visiting like some country and he was like, do you think we could get people to like mob me? He wanted to feel like, well, no one felt like to get mobbed. And he had his team organize a mobbing, like a not like a flash mob, like that kind of thing. Like, it's like, oh my God, Mark, we love you, whatever.
Yeah.
He had his team organize that for him.
That is fucking nuts.
And why is the thing, like, why would you ask, like, what are you doing? Like you're either that famous or you're not.
No, I'm sorry. Guillotine, man.
Like, what are you doing?
Nah, that French Revolution had it right, bro. There's no way. There's no way.
Like that, and there's that video. Oh my God!
shit,
There's that video of Elon. Like he actually looks properly hurt.
Right.
He's describing how I think it was Tim Waltz said that like he's happy that Tesla stock was going down, and Elon looked properly like genuine when he was saying that like. He's such an evil guy for saying that. Like how, like who would say that they wish the stock to go down? Like that is such a bad thing to say.
Like, who
and I'm
would
like,
do that?
have you fucking heard anything you say? Like, what, like, why is this the most objectionable thing that like you can like it seems that you've heard in the last like year? Like, why is that why is that someone cheering over your stock going down? Like, why is that more insane than any of the like? Than like the leveling of Gaza.
It's literally like everything that comes out of your mouth, man.
Like why? Like they just don't live in our world.
Yes.
They live in this other world that like they have people who they pay to like maintain.
Yeah.
And I mean, not even pay. Some people may just be lackeys and like, or just like want to kiss up because they love they want they love being close to power. So
Exactly.
so they follow through with that.
Exactly.
But it's just like, no.
My thing is also like I just feel like there's something I don't know how to explain it, man. Because I don't think there's a way to like properly, sometimes we look to history to like explain things and we're like, oh yeah, this historical figure is representative of this dude. It seems similar, like a comparison. But the amount of wealth that these motherfuckers have now is beyond what has been seen in human history to the extent that you can't even one-to-one it. Right now, in the future, these motherfuckers will be the people will point to and be like, oh yeah, he's reminding me of whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so we don't have a reference point for these motherfuckers. And so I think what we're seeing is like, just like this level of like human, like, I don't even know what the terminology is, but they see themselves as these gods, man. And so they just, the way that they're living life, I mean...
But they live life like they're gods, which is like...
They do.
Kind of makes sense, Like...
It does, yeah.
Not make sense in that, like, what they're like... It's internally... Because, like, they're treated like they're gods. They're treated like they're the brightest people. They're the smartest. They're like... Oh,
yeah.
So, like, eventually you end up believing people's bullshit.
Yeah.
And, like, in the same way in which, like, if someone bullies you and treats you like shit, you might internalize that and end up believing that. If people treat you like you're a god all the time... He
Right.
might be like, hey, I'm a god, you know?
Yeah.
And these people just might be, or I mean, that might, the order might have been the other way around. They might have just been really arrogant as well. But also, like, I'm not going to say they're not smart because they do have
No, yeah, yeah.
intelligence.
Yeah.
But, like, what was I, I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe they were, yeah, arrogant, but also, like, believe that they were God too. And are just
Absolutely.
like, oh, these people also believe them. And that just adds, it's like a feedback loop.
Absolutely. There's nothing to stop them.
Yeah.
And I think I heard a story, and I don't necessarily think this is bullshit because I think I've heard. So this was an interview done with a person who worked as a doorman to like this fucking outrageously super expensive hotel, and some of the shit that they sort of hear from the wealthy, some of the shit that they see, right, like just the lives that these guys are living,
Mm,
like they almost describe it as like, because they have no consequences, their mind is like this fucking, it's just like vacant in a way. There's nothing to, they just do whatever the fuck is in front of them. They don't care. There's no like, and so what's also seemingly happening is that, like, because obviously there's a huge just like global increase of like the upper middle class,
mm,
and by that, actually no, let's talk about the upper class specifically, and I'm talking about millionaires, closer to 100 millionaires, and then not necessarily billionaires, but like what used to be the case is that there were so few billionaires that they could then afford certain luxuries that the rest of the world could not. And that was like amazing to them.
mm.
But now, because there's just a large cohort of people who are now 100 millionaires who can also afford the exact same things that the billionaires can afford, because there's nothing on this planet that actually costs that much, right?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing, there's no real like thing stopping person who has 1 billion from doing the same thing that a person that has like 350 billion from doing, right? Like these things are
Except, I
finite.
guess, buying Twitter.
Right. Except that shit. So that you can have people fucking bully you all the time. I've like, I think so. What's ended up happening is that like these billionaires, these ultra billionaires, are now looking for things to do
Mm,
that are outside of the like financial bracket of the relatively wealthy,
mm,
because they're like, well, our exclusivity is now gone, or at least it's diminished, because now we have to go to our fancy hotels and our whatevers, and we have to encounter these other people who think they're like on the same level as us, but they're not.
yeah.
And I'm just curious because the person being interviewed didn't know, like it's almost like there was like a veil, there was like a curtain that they didn't get to see behind, but they were like, I don't know what they're doing, but you can tell they're seeking that extra thing, like that thing that
That's interesting.
like is so much more than the rest of them that they can do, and they just then they don't know what it is. Like I've heard now that there's this like thing that the ultra wealthy do, which is like there's like these 5 events that happen each year that they each try to get to all over the world, and like obviously spend big and live lavishly and experience the whatever. But I think one is like a Formula One event somewhere, which I think is probably the Monaco Grand Prix. But like think about how many people now, that's like a very basic thing for like wealthy people to
Yeah.
do. So even if you're an ultra billionaire, that's not even like a cool thing for you to do now because there's a bunch of other people doing it. So it's like
They've got these centimillionaire proles there with you, you know?
yeah. Look at that guy with his fucking $100 million yacht. Fuck that, man. Look at my $800 million yacht. Like, oh, fucking hell, man. It's crazy, dude. I can't believe that there's like, I can't believe that in the same world that that exists, there then exists like hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people who are like barely getting by. Like, barely, like just about getting by. That's what's fucking nuts to me, man.
Yeah.
Like there's people out there who are like, I've seen everything I need to see. I've owned these yachts. I own these private jets. I've been to fucking space for a little bit. Like, I don't know what to do with
And
my
I still
life.
want more, though.
And I still want more. And I'm still not gonna give other people this opportunity as well. Because fuck them, you know what I mean? Like, like why at that point? What's the goal here, man? Oh,
It's a
fuck.
brain disease. I think, like,
I think so too.
I mean, maybe you contract a disease when you get that much money. As like maybe it's like maybe like you get it from your bank. Like, maybe I haven't seen a number that big on my like on my Discovery app.
Right.
Maybe if I ever do, you know, I'll get that disease too. If it just comes with witnessing it, like, oh, I have this much money.
Yeah.
Disease just like it just comes, you know. It's like it's there.
Like this is what I get to do now. I don't know, man. It's just this like I had a very interesting conversation in the Uber the other day. This guy, he was from Rwanda, and he heard my name, and Rwanda's literally like bordering on
The
Tanzania.
hotel. Ta-dum.
Fuck it up. We need to have a dad joke counter, actually. Get our listeners to like tally. And Rwanda borders Tanzania, so they do speak Swahili a little bit, and then Uganda's just there as well. And he asked me because he heard my name. He was like, "Where you from?" I was like, "I'm from Tanzania, but my name's Ugandan." And then he goes, "Oh, what do you think of the Ugandan minister of what? He's the president's son." And I go, "I don't know. I don't know what I think of him. What do you think of him? I don't know that much about Ugandan politics." And he goes, he's 54 years old, but he still seems immature. Like he still seems like a child. He's the minister of, I can't even remember what it is, but he was like he's a kid. And I go, yeah, man. Unfortunately, that's kind of what happens when you are born that wealthy. So the Ugandan history is insane, but like the president of Uganda has been in power for the last like 30 something years. He's never let go of it.
What?
Yeah, yeah. It's full on like dictator vibes. And so it's really funny. There's a photo from 1996, I believe, at our house,
Wasn't even
of my dad. He was in Uganda, and I don't know what the conference was. I don't know what the
sure.
thing was, but
Sure.
he was there, and he's in a photo with with the Ugandan president, and it's like 1996. And I was in the office, and I was like,
This motherfucker's
"Isn't
still the
that
president.
this is the same motherfucker now?" I was like, "How is
What?
no? There's no way.
Where's the
This
US?
is
Why are they spreading democracy to Uganda?
where's the democracy?" I honestly think Uganda just doesn't offer anything
Yeah, there's no oil there
substantial.
that they
Holy
know of,
shit!
so they're
That's
like, it's chill.
I don't want Ugandans to attack me now for saying this. This is interregional fucking.
Okay, so what are the chances that a Ugandan listens to our podcast? What are
Good point. I was like, so for that kid, all 54 years of his life, he has never for a second had to grow up. So there is like there was no point where he had to leave the house, so to speak, and become financially independent and figure out how to pay rent and all of that. All of that's gone out the window. Done. Like not for a single second has he ever had to consider that. So of course he's 54 years old and he's still immature because what is the alternative for him to become mature? What for? What is maturity for at that point?
He's had other people probably running his administration since it started.
Right.
He's probably like, it's running fine for me,
Yeah.
so I don't care. And he's chilling.
Vibing, man.
He's
Vibing.
fucking insane.
And the Uber driver's opinion was just that like he was like, well, you see, this is the problem with Africa and Africans. And I was like, I don't think this is an Africans problem, my friend. You will find the same shit. Like, have you ever met a fucking young, rich, white guy who has
There's
never
this
for
guy
a
who's
second had to
in
worry
Trump's
about money?
administration.
Yeah.
He owns some like some hedge fund or whatever the fuck, and he's given it to his two like fucking 20-year-old kids,
Right.
his sons,
Right. Just handed it
And
to
I'm just
them.
like, are there fucking fail sons who are now in charge of billions of dollars? Like, yay. Good, let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's like, that's not an Africa thing, my friend. That's just a wealth thing. Like that's just a class thing. Like it's just I don't know. I was like, we can't keep ascribing this shit to like. It's the same way we look at corruption or whatever. Like you can't keep ascribing it to a race thing. It's not a race thing. It's a class solidarity thing. If this tactic has been working for my parents, which is to extract as much wealth from the country as possible while pretending to offer some sort of like some semblance of help, and that's like been maintained, why change that? In what world does it make sense to change that at all?
Yeah.
So like assigning that to being like African or whatever, it's like it's nonsense, man. You're an African yourself. Do you behave that way? No. So why are you putting yourself down, man? This isn't a
That's actually something quite deep because I do hear like black people speak of black people like
Yes.
that. We all do this thing. Like we've got
Yes.
these like I don't know, like, and I'm just like, well, maybe no. Like maybe like I don't know. You can observe it,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But like maybe it's not inherent to blackness. Maybe
Right,
it's just
right.
like these things that are being done. Maybe they're like these other factors that are like involved, and you don't have to be like black people, or like we should be more like the X group or the Y group or the Z
Yes,
group, or like
you're right.
I don't know. It just seems like self-defeating
Yeah,
almost. Like it's like, oh no, we've just got this thing about us
yeah.
that like we can't change or we can't do, or like we've been cursed with this for like so many eons, and we're like, this is just our problem to bear. This is our cross to whatever the fuck. And
Right.
like the Africans now who are not doing those things. So
Yes.
like, why is that not an African thing?
Right.
But what do you feel?
Exactly. Like, does that not count? Does that not count as an African thing? I also just feel like it's intellectually lazy. And
Yes.
I hate saying that sometimes because it feels like I'm putting some sort of like, I suppose, virtue on intellect, call back to our last episode. But like, it's just it's lazy to jump to that conclusion. That is the easiest thing one can do. You can just be like, oh, it's because they're African that this is happening. But it's boring. It's lazy to think that way. It's so frustrating to me because it's like that laziness is what's leading to is generally what allows oppression to manifest mentally. Oppression obviously uses that as a tactic, but that's how how it maintains itself in the populace. Is people just like being like, yeah, well, it's just an African thing. Like, what are we gonna do? That's just what being
Yeah.
an African means. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be corruption here and there. There's gonna be whatever. It's like, no, man, it's not a fucking African thing. You got to think about it differently. Because it's just boring, and it bothers me when I hear shit like that. That's why I'm always quite engaged. I don't know how many conversations you have with your Uber drivers, but like
Bitch, I
wait, you
have a
have a car,
car.
sorry. Hit me at the same time as you said. I was like, oh
I
yeah,
have a
this
car
motherfucker has
named
a
a
car.
car, Like,
Yeah, he's fine.
but it's like I hear the most insane conversations at gym, like in the sauna.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Except like there've been times where like I mean yesterday there was this chat about like Trump, and like this guy was like I could never vote, like you can say what you want about Trump, but I could never vote for a Democrat. I literally laughed. I literally laughed. I was like, I don't know these people. This is the first. I literally laughed, and I just sat there. I laughed, and then I sat there, and then they continued speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this one time when
Holy
I think
shit.
this was like back in December, where someone, I think I might have said this in this pod. I'm not sure. No, I think I sent you a voice note, but he was like. He was talking about like homeless people and he called them scum. And at that
Yes.
point, I was literally like, that is fucked. Like I spoke and I was like, no, that's fucked up. You can't say that about people.
Yeah.
But this time I was just like, I just laughed. I'm like, this is fucking like, what are you guys saying? Like they said like a few objectionable things. I'm just like, you guys are shit people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like you're just like I wanted to be like, this is shit. Like you guys are saying shitty things.
Yeah.
Do some introspection. Like why? Like sure. I mean, look, Democrats are not great. They are not. But that you would never vote for them and that you'd vote for Trump. Like what do you like? Like, what are your morals that you
Right.
think that the Republicans are like more are the better party to vote for? And they even
Exactly.
said that same guy even said that like he doesn't think the administration cares about the middle class. Which who cares about the lower class? No, not him. But he said that like, they don't care about the middle class. They only want to enrich themselves. And it's just like, so then what? Like, by what logic
How-
are you saying you'd like
Yeah.
what, bro? Like, I mean,
See, this is my thing.
yeah,
People don't understand. I feel like folks don't understand what conservative means. Like what that word means. Like to conserve. Like you're trying to preserve what exists currently, and in fact, you're trying to roll back what has changed from this so-called fantastical past that didn't exist, by the way, but this amazing past that you've created for yourself.
oh, for them it did.
Yeah, for them it did. Right, fair
I
enough.
mean, these are white men who listen to speak in this order. So.
Fair enough. So for them, this very real past that they existed in and benefited from, that they want to return to. And so to be like the Democrats only serve their own interest, and therefore I will not vote for them, or at least they serve selfish interests, therefore I will not vote for them. It's easier for you to just say,
He even said that about the Republicans. He said that the Trump people just care about themselves, but he'd still
but
rather vote for
then
them.
you
over
still
the thing.
rather vote for them. Well, then at that point, you might as well just say you are a Republican conservative. Like you need to accept it, not
Yeah.
to be because I don't like that's not a justifiable take for you to be like I would never vote for the Democrats because they're self-serving. That's why I vote for Republicans because they're self-serving. That's such a much longer sentence than just saying I'm a
Yeah.
conservative. Like why not just say that?
I'm a dipshit.
That means this has nothing to do with the Democrats. There's nothing there. You want them to fight for you individually, like specifically your like body type, your race, your whatever. So you therefore would never vote for them. So why like don't even bring them up. Just say this is what I support, bro.
Yeah.
This is nonsense. Like I hate that type of fucking logic. And Seb and I we were talking about the sauna because he said he's also heard some interesting conversations in the sauna. And then because we sat down and we clocked it that like to be able to have access to the sauna, because you're not only paying your gym membership, but then the sauna is an extra like fee, right? Unless you're paying for the like premium whatever.
Is this at Horizon?
No, not at Horizon. I mean like in general gyms. Like sauna doesn't
Oh no, the
necessarily come
Virgin
with the
gyms.
membership.
If you have, it depends. Well, I'm certain that it doesn't matter. Speak.
I suppose it depends. It depends on your membership, basically. Like, not everybody has access to the sauna,
yeah.
depending on whatever gym you're going to. And if you're going to a wealthier gym and you have access to the sauna, well, I assume that's going to be reflected in your membership fee, right? And so it means that there's a certain essentially you have to be able to pay for that extra cost to be able to go into that. Not only that, being in a sauna, you have to be in there for a decent amount of time. I don't know how long is like an actual proper like sauna session, do you think?
I just do like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I used to do like 19, but then I couldn't reliably time 19 minutes because my old Apple Watch is unresponsive, and my current one that I got like this in December or November or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't want to break it.
Oh,
so
fair.
I'm just not going to test fate by taking
Going
it into the
into there with
sauna.
it.
I've seen people with AirPods in the sauna.
Yeah.
I've seen people with their phones in the sauna. I've seen like I'm like
That's
at their
confident,
I
hey?
mean, I'm like, yo, like this is insured, but like I do not want to be like claiming. I don't want to claim a thing. Like I just,
Yeah.
I mean, I've claimed insurance before, but anyway.
Okay. so basically the time of like added to your gym time to then add an extra sauna session in there, it also just takes up amount of time, which means that like to be able to access the sauna and do all of that shit, you have to be able to afford to whatever. So people who are going to be in saunas are generally going to be people roughly
You're in a
the
privileged
same
position of some sort.
Yes, you're in a privileged space.
Yeah.
So then the conversations there must be interesting. And Seb said he's heard some fucking wonky shit about race, about class. But these people who are never explicitly racist, who are always like, yeah, I don't mind those types of people, but it just bothers me when they start to, that type of language, that type of like.
It's so frustrating. It's like fucking sit with your chest, bro. Just
Yes,
like
fucking be open and honest about it.
like you're not a good person. Just admit it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Like you're trying to fight this balance between
Yeah.
like appearing like a good person, but also it's this incongruence between feeling like you're a good person, but everything that comes out of your mouth and everything that you feel and experience is not what good people feel and experience.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this dissonance. It's so weird, man. Fuck.
Do you know what else is weird?
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been an intro yet.
I knew
50
50 minutes in.
I think that's the voice I use when I'm like, it's about to do an intro. It's intro time.
Yeah.
So welcome, listeners. I'll do this one again. Why not? We're listening to episode 16 of Pink
Yeah.
Notice podcast. You're joined by Mukisa Muglizi, who's speaking now.
Hi, everyone.
Then he was speaking. Now Akha Majezi is speaking. That's me. And so you guys are about 50. I don't know how long you guys are in, but decent amount of time. And so you know what we're talking about so far.
Yeah.
But we did want to also talk about Anora.
We did.
Because as you listened to the last episode, that was a promise to you that we made about 3 months ago. I don't know when the Oscars were, but that you guys heard last week Tuesday.
Yeah.
Was that we would watch whatever film ended up winning the film of the year, and that film was Anora.
Yeah.
So I will start by asking you, Mukisa.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was worthy of the film of the year?
I think that's a complicated question because I think it was a really good movie. I compared to other films of the years that have come in the past, compared to the movie that I thought should have won Film of the Year, I don't think it was worthy. But I think in this pool of options, I think it's a really good movie, man. I enjoyed it so much. I
as
like,
well.
yeah, that's not even to like look down on it or anything. It's just to say that like I don't think its quality was like so magnificent that it's Oscar worthy, but maybe I'm just placing too much like emphasis
No,
or
but it had you. It had like it was gripping. It was
it
like
was.
you felt for Annie.
Yeah.
You like you fucking like when the dudes were like fucking hated her because she was like fucking raging on them for
Yeah.
fucking like kidnapping or like tying her up. Like that whole like exchange,
Dude.
the whole like everything like I think it was told really well. I think it was a
Yeah.
very unimportant story to tell. It was a very cool way to tell the story.
It was.
And like the parts were like you can tell that this guy, this little rich Russian kid.
Yes.
Wait, we don't know what's. Tell us. Okay, describe because I described White Lotus. I mean, whatever show I
Oh, fair.
described earlier.
Fair.
So, what's this movie about?
So Anora is about this young sex worker named Anora or Annie. And she
Well, actually, question on that while you're describing this movie: is she a sex worker, or was that the first time she did sex work?
well, that's a great question, but I think stripping counts as sex work.
Oh, okay.
But it's just it's a different category of sex work, right? It's not like I'm sleeping with you, but it's still selling sex or the idea of sex. It's
Yeah.
kind of like how
I'm
even
a
if you're
sex
an
worker because I do
OnlyFans
thirst
model,
traps on Instagram. Oh no.
if you're being paid for it, then yeah, you can take that. You can take the W for that.
My cash app is.
So interestingly, yeah, she starts off as a stripper, but then sleeps with this Russian rich kid really early on in the movie, and this kid then just starts like basically demanding more and more of her time, or asking rather, and paying her for it. We should add as well, and she's quite happy to do this, and she's like, because he's fucking wealthy, he's got an incredible view. It's kind of really just like funny for her to observe this kid because he seems like just like a bit of a recluse.
But not
just
only
a-
that, because okay, keep going. You're actually telling the story. Keep going.
No, actually, no. Go ahead, because I can explain it later.
No, because she could be his way out, you know? He
Right.
could be her way out of not being rich.
Yes.
Of like being a normal person. Of like he could be her golden ticket and becomes one at some point.
Yeah.
Keep telling the story.
Yeah. No. That's exactly right. And like he kind of like, and by demands her time, I literally mean that like he told her to like stop working for a week, and he'd pay her, I think, what was it, 20K?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that
which
wasn't.
is like,
I feel like you're being mean to Ivan. I feel like Ivan is like you say he's demanding. I don't think he's. I feel like he's paying for a service.
Yes.
and he's just like I'm entitled to this because of my money. He's
Yes.
entitled, but I don't think he's demanding.
yeah,
I
no,
think
that's
I
fair.
think we
That's
do
fair.
that one.
No, that's very fair. Demanding is not the right word. I actually also think he's too immature
He's
to be
so
demanding.
immature. He's so immature.
Yeah. Like earlier in the conversation when we were saying that like rich people they don't know they're being evil. Ivan's just very like he's rich and immature to the point that he doesn't even recognize that
Yeah.
he's not being demanding. He's just like, oh yeah, I can just have you for the next week.
Yeah.
It's fine, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, like which
You
is
have
like,
a rate. I can
and
pay
she's
it.
like,
Why not?
yeah, sure. So I don't know if this is a spoiler, but
No, it is. I'm sorry, guys. We're talking about the movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Come back.
yeah. So they Ivan proposes to her one night. They go off to Vegas. They fucking rent out this hotel room. They get
But why does Ivan propose?
That's a great question.
Ivan, what I got is that Ivan didn't want
he
to go
wants
back
a
to
green
Russia because
card.
he's scared of his parents.
Yes. Yeah. He's very afraid of his parents, and he wanted a green card, so he was just like, "Fuck it, let's get married. Let's do this thing." They go off to Vegas. They have a rager with their friends. They fucking party. They do actually legitimately get married.
Which is in a community of property, I assume.
Yeah.
Which would mean that she's entitled to half of whatever he is.
That's what I thought
he
as
has.
well.
But also something that I was because one of later in the story, I'm interrupting this. You guys will find out about the story just now. But later, he's like, his handler, Ivan's handler,
Yes.
is like his babysitter, basically
Yeah.
underpaid babysitter, I might add.
Yes.
Is like, you think all of this is Ivan's? This isn't Ivan's. This is his dad's.
Right.
And I'm wondering if his dad is literally like, I own everything. You get whatever allowance you get, or you can use my credit card for anything you want.
Right.
But you own nothing. You have to,
own
like,
nothing.
what if that's the power dynamic of the dad?
Right.
Because that's the vibe I got from like that the vibe.
Yeah.
Like you can own half of what I have, but half of what I have is actually nothing
Yeah.
because I just use my dad's money all the time.
Right.
Until he
What was-
dies and maybe gives me money, who knows?
Yeah.
But tough story.
No. You're absolutely right. And what was also interesting, because then that also then changes the dynamic of like when they later in the movie, spoiler alert, if you're still listening, you clearly don't care, or you've gone to watch the
They've had
movie and
enough
you've come
warning.
back.
Yes, they could have done the second one. They did that one. They listened.
When they get divorced, I'm like, I realized then that like even if she were to receive annulled. Sorry, that is the correction. Which then doesn't mean she's entitled to half of his property. But even if she was entitled to half of his shit, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't own anything. He's just a kid living off his parents' money. So there wouldn't be any sort of benefit or profit from marrying him in the first place. The only other way for her to like maintain some sort of like financial connection with these people is through having his baby, which the movie kind of like threw that out the window. Like they hinted at it, they were like maybe,
But no.
and they were like, nah, that's not gonna happen. But I think, so we got to the marriage part, they get married, and then it leads into what might be, and this is why I think actually, you know what, they deserve the Oscar. The next half an hour of the movie, like it's literally from the midpoint, from when they get married and get back to the house, the parents find out that they've now gotten married, and the handler has to come into the house and convince them to get this marriage annulled. From that point until the end of the film, I have never felt the level of like anxiety, excitement, laughter, fucking joy at certain points. Like they were taking me through the biggest roller coaster ride of my life, and every second of it, I was engrossed. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I was like, this is the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And then in the midst of that as well, the handler had his two mini goons, I suppose. And one of the goons didn't actually work for them, but he was there.
Yes!
And
oh my
he
God!
was there as like the muscle. Yeah. And then like his introduction to this was brilliant because like from the second he entered the house, you could tell he had a certain level of softness for Anora, that he like was pitying her, the position that she had found herself in, that he was like, because he was very quiet throughout the movie. I think he spoke maybe like 5 or 6 lines throughout the entire fucking movie. And most of them came at the end when they were chatting. He could like tell this moment. He was like, this is a rich kid who's fucking thrown this girl around. And she thought her life was about to change. And it is about to change.
But she's just a toy to him.
Yeah, exactly. It's not changing in the way you think it's changing. And you could tell in his demeanor, in the way he's kind of like, basically, okay, and this is where it gets like scary, because he has to then like, or at least
he restrains her.
Yes, he has to like restrain her.
But he's doing it carefully,
I know,
which is a
that's
kind
the
of fucked up thing to say. But you can see what he's doing. He's trying not to be a bad henchman. He's trying not to. He's trying to be a good henchman.
Like actively
he's trying to be one of those good white people in apartheid. That's what he's trying to do. He's like, I'll participate, but do it nicely. I'll participate with a conscience.
Yes, with a conscience. So it's like weird, because then you start to feel like, because you can notice this, and the movie almost like explicitly tells you that he's like purposefully doing this like calmly and nicely, because there's a scene where they go into that shop and he catches the baseball bat, because the kid in the shop tries to like intimidate them to like go away, and he like swings the baseball at them and he fucking catches it and smashes shit around. So you can tell he knows how to fight. You can tell he's like an
goon.
actual goon. But like with her, he's always like very soft and kind to her, which obviously like then the movie offers this interesting dynamic of like, is she just feeling this way because she's in a deeply like traumatic and intense situation, and he's the only one that's like offering some semblance of levity?
But is she feeling what way? What way is she feeling?
Well, conflicted, because she's like pissed off at him at first. Obviously, he's the one that restrained her, and she's like going through the motions of like, in terms of at least the physicality of it, he's the one she can put blame on, and so she's like going at him throughout the movie. But then there's a certain point where he asks her if she's cold, gives her a scarf. She finally just takes the scarf. There's so many subtle little like moments. There's moments where like he says like, I'm sorry to her or something. He says like, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Or there's like a moment of like tranquility between them where he's just like, this is shit that this is happening to you. I don't know if it was like through like them looking at each other or whatever, but that message was like brought across. And then even at the end of the movie, when like the annulment has happened, I'm not going to actually, I don't want to
spoil it, Mookie, so they've seen the movie or they don't care. Talk about it.
Okay, fair enough. So they get to the end of the movie, they're in the house alone together, and she's still quite a bit pissy with him. But he keeps being kind to her, he keeps being nice to her, and she keeps going at him. There's even a moment where she was like, I don't want to use the R word. I'm just gonna say the R word. She was like, "You were gonna R word me," and then he was like, "I wouldn't R word you. Why would I R word you? That wasn't what I was planning on doing." And she was like, "No, you were gonna R word me. You look like someone who would R word someone." And then he was like, "I don't R word. That's not what I do. That's just not my thing."
Yeah.
And it was a very jarring conversation because he was like shockingly calm. He was like,
He was like, no, I wasn't going to do that.
he was just chilling there. He was like, "No, that's not what I was doing. That's not what was happening." And I think she was like so used to like people coming at her the entire day that this guy who was just like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
Yeah. I mean, he was one of the people coming at her the entire day.
Right. And then like he drives her home, and then you get into the final scene, which was so beautiful to me. I didn't know how to process that whole scene. And that's why I thought it was beautiful, because I was like, holy shit, this is just an emotional intensity, because they kiss and then eventually...
No, they don't kiss. No, they don't kiss. The kiss is what breaks her.
Yes,
the kiss is what. So like she gets on top of him.
Yes,
they start like having sex.
Yes,
and then he grabs her to like kiss her. Not grabs her, holds her.
Yes.
And she's pulling back.
Yes.
And he doesn't pull her forward.
Right.
But he stops her from going back.
Right.
And then she starts like beating him, hitting everything.
Yes.
And then he just holds her in a hug.
Yeah.
And then she
fucking
just cries. Because she hasn't had a moment this whole movie.
Literally.
Like I ever made.
Literally.
To like process what has just happened.
Yeah.
The insanity she's been through. She's been running. And that intimate, that connection that like, she has a genuine, which she didn't have with Ivan. She didn't have that connection with Ivan that she now has with Goon.
Yes.
But like that was just, I was just like, yo.
It was
like,
fantastic, that scene. It was like, fantastic to me. And like, I didn't even realize that that's what like, because as much as that's her journey, yes, 100%, it almost felt like the movie was doing that to us as the audience as well. This level of like, this is a pretty calm movie, shoots up to 100% fucking anxiety, go, 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 moment to next. It doesn't fucking skip a beat. And then you as the audience get to the end of the movie with her without realizing that as much as she's been holding that tension, you have as well. Because the movie hasn't fucking let up. And suddenly, out of nowhere, it's just this quiet scene of these two people in a car. All you can hear is the ticker of the indicator going off. Through the entire time, just the sound of the engine, ticker of the indicator going off. And just like, she just like bursts into tears. And I was like, oh shit. I felt that tension too, because now I'm fucking emotionally distraught and I'm like wanting to release it too. It was fantastic. You know what? It deserved the Oscar. Fuck it. It deserved the Oscar.
There we go.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I thought we were doing that now. It was great. I mean, I agree with everything you said. It was amazing. I loved the whole beginning bit where she's being introduced to this new world where she can just enjoy herself and just like be a rich girl and like have fun and like
fantasize,
be people like be doted on and also have someone like just buy shit for you. Like she had like a lot of fun. It was really fun. The first one was really, really fun.
Right.
Then they got married. That was all really fun. Then they're at home. The funniest scene was when Goon comes and he's like, "Your dad's coming."
Yeah.
And then Ivan's like, he's like, "Wait, your parents are coming?" And then he's like, "Yeah, they're coming on a flight now." He's like, "Wait, my parents are on a flight now?"
Yeah.
And then Goon's like, henchman, he's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Annie, let's go."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, I'm not that." He fucking runs. He's gone.
Books.
He runs.
He
is gone. One of his goons tries to catch. One of the goons tries to catch him. He fails. He gets like fucking. He slides on a. It was such a comical scene, but like that,
holy
like booking,
shit, dude.
like.
Holy shit, man.
He's like, this is like, it just showed how much of a toy this whole thing was to him. Like that, like he doesn't care for you. He's literally just using you to get a green card.
He doesn't give a shit.
And like now that like, well, sure, but like my threat is coming. The thing I'm scared of is coming, and like this government can't protect me from my parents.
Right.
So I'm not even like properly like this is a sham wedding. Like, I'm not even
Yeah.
fucking see this thing.
Yeah.
So I don't even think he thought that far. He's probably just like, mom and
No.
dad are coming. I'm gonna be in trouble. Let me
Yes.
run.
Yeah.
Which he did, which is like very childish.
Very
running away from your
childish.
problems. And he's
Good
probably in his
Lord.
early 20s.
Yeah.
And he's probably never had to face his problems his whole life
Yeah.
because daddy could always sort out. I mean, he
Absolutely.
probably had his hardest time at home,
Yeah.
but probably spent most of his time not home.
Yeah.
So he just lived in a cloud the whole time.
Yeah.
Until his parents called him home and he was like, fuck, okay, now I have to like be a good boy for mom and daddy, but not for mom and daddy. I literally am like living the best life ever and can like use people and
Yeah.
and like it's not even I don't think he was malicious in like any of this.
No.
I think he was like as we
This is
said
White
earlier, like I
Lotus.
think he was just ignorant. He was
Yes.
just like I can do this. Like I'm asking to do this thing. You said yes, this is fine. Like what power imbalance? What is a power imbalance? How do you
Right.
describe that to someone who doesn't understand what this thing means? You know, like how do you like
Yeah.
so yeah, no, that was amazing. Then the whole like fucking scenes in the house. Hey, that house from the outside looks like ass.
It
but
does
like from
look
the
like
inside,
shit
I
from
mean it
the
looks
outside.
big from the outside. I loved it inside. Oh my god, that was so nice. But Ivan's room being a child's room was also very funny.
Yes.
That like he had been sleeping in his parents' room the whole time and with Anora when she had moved in.
Yeah.
But like that wasn't actually his bedroom.
I know.
And then when the henchmen come after Ivan has ran,
Yeah.
the main guy, the main henchman, he's like, you think that's Ivan's room? That's not Ivan's room. Ivan's room is down the hall. He's got helicopters and little kids things all around.
Posters
You know
and-
why? Because Ivan's still a child. And like, yes, Ivan is still a child. He'll always be a child. I mean, his parents don't even let him drive the cars. Like,
Literally.
he is a child of note.
Holy shit, man.
But yeah, no, I love that Anora was able to get money at least out of this. I mean,
Yeah.
she got paid gang money, and I don't think she spent any of it, so she's probably
Yeah.
fine for a few months. I did worry about like, okay, now she's gonna go back to because I think I had in my head while watching the movie that like she was gonna get like there was something bad was going to happen. I thought
I
like
also
that was
had
either
that
gonna be like
ominous
some like
feeling.
sex trafficking,
Yeah.
or like something, and like it just never came, and I was like, yay.
Yeah. I guess the
but,
bad
like,
thing was the immaturity, right?
I was like, there is no further resolution in that scene because I think that she's fine. I mean, she could probably find work if she needs to. She probably has enough money to like start work that she actually want. Like, not that she didn't want to be a stripper. Maybe she had that in her heart, but maybe she has other things that she wants to pursue, and now she possibly could do that. It does suck. I mean, I did think of like having to go back to work and be like,
Holy
I mean, because
shit.
actually, where they find Ivan, right? They
Yeah.
find Ivan at the
her
place she
fucking
used to
place,
work, at
yeah.
the old strip club where they met, and he was getting a lap dance from like this one other dancer who
like her
hated
rival.
her.
Yeah.
Who they had like a beef, and like not even a 1-to-1 beef. It was a beef of
Yeah.
like Annie is like. Better than her.
Yes.
Annie's better than her. Like Annie
Yes,
is like
objectively,
Anora
like-
is composed. She is
Yes.
and like this other dancer. She is. I don't know what to describe. Like, she's just like jealous.
Yes.
She just like reeks of jealousy and like
Constantly.
wanting to like get back every single opportunity. And it's just like, live your own life, girl. You know, you've got traits.
She
I don't know what
can't.
they
She
are,
sucks at dancing,
but you've
bro.
got, and that's why she's just like, and then she's just like, oh my god, fuck yeah. Oh, I can get a lap dance from. I mean, I can give Annie's husband a lap dance.
Yeah.
Isn't that going to be sick? Won't that be sick if I could just like get
Take
back at her
him
by
and-
giving her husband a lap
Yeah.
dance? Like, what are you? Like, are you 12?
Honestly.
Like, what are you like? What? Like, why is
Honestly.
that giving you pleasure? Like, why? Like, why
Yeah.
don't? I mean, give you pleasure, get her money. Yeah, sure, you can get money, you can get paid, sure, but like. To like get back at, I mean, as far as like the movie doesn't explain the beef, but it just seemed very juvenile to me.
It did.
It seemed very jealousy and juvenile and something that you should have left in high school.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I think because the beef started because Annie danced with one of her like main clients, but she was in the middle of a dance with somebody else. So it's not like, Anora did this out of like spite or anything.
Yeah.
It should to be like, no, sorry, you're gonna have to wait an hour because that's what people in strip clubs are good at, notoriously, waiting for their fucking dancer for a fucking hour. Like,
I wouldn't have been
like
so
no, like that's just not gonna happen. So I think I agree with you. It was very juvenile, and I also think it surprisingly worked. Surprisingly, because I think juvenile things tend to annoy me, but this one didn't annoy me because it honestly felt like the easiest of problems that she had to face in the entire film. Like,
Yes.
of all the shit she was going through, this one was the most juvenile and therefore the one that I could stomach the most
10 out of
because I was
10.
like, fuck, this doesn't fucking matter. You've got this other shit to deal with.
Yeah.
like this is baby shit compared to
Yeah.
that other stuff. I just felt
And then they
annoyed.
start fighting. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
they
Like,
start fighting in the club. This is why I'm like, Annie can't go back there. I don't think she'll be allowed to go
yeah.
back there. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know, just with throughout the movie, I do think there are certain things we could have learned a little bit more about Annie, but at the same time, that's not necessarily what the story was trying to tell. I
Mm.
think the story itself was just like, I don't know, this focus on this young up and coming dancer who gets this encounter, this like once in a lifetime encounter that I think everybody, not just like sex workers, but people
Literally.
in general,
Yeah.
have this desire of like
Or
meeting
I
this
can
one
meet a
person that's
rich
going to
person and
transform their
then,
life. Right.
yeah.
And then, yeah, suddenly your life is going to be this miraculously wonderful, fantastical thing, and you never have to worry about a thing a day in your life. So she had that, and she met somebody who was like very quickly and suddenly fulfilling those things for her. And so she got this excitement and
Mm.
like, yeah, let's do it. This is my life now. This is crazy. This is so cool. This is
Mm.
amazing. And
Yeah,
you
she
could tell
seemed
when she
like
was looking outside of the, like, sorry, no, go ahead.
you said this is my like this was her life. She was like,
Right.
yeah, no, this is my house. Like she was
Yeah.
very in after getting married, she was like, yeah, this is like she
She
was
was
full on
in it,
like
man.
this is happening. Like I it's funny because I'm the kind of person who would be like, this is good, but I don't know how good it's gonna last because
Yes.
like trauma. So so I'm just gonna
Yes.
be a bit apprehensive on all of this thing because it might end
Yeah.
at any moment. But she was like full on believing and
She
like
was into it,
but
man.
she had literally she should have believed it, I think. Like I don't blame her for like full on
I
agree
don't
like because
either.
it's like okay, we've got married. You seem very genuine, and like even if you're not genuine, like the worst thing you're probably going to do is just fuck off, and I won't see you for a bit. But I'm still
Yes.
probably going to be able. I'm still going to be have
Have
this
the
house and
money,
have these
yeah.
things, and like I might be like, where have you been or whatever. But it's not going to be like a thing of like, oh, like you we're not going to be married because your parents are going
Exactly.
to take you away from me.
Exactly. Like it's sort of like
But
this
yeah,
isn't
no,
like yeah, this
I mean, she's
isn't where
like, no, I
the
can get
story
your
could have
mom to
gone.
like me or whatever. And like, the mom is so mean to Annie when she meets
Holy
her. She's
shit, that
literally like,
mother.
you are worse than like you do
Holy
not like
shit.
belong in my
Also,
vibe. Yes,
I do think the mother was in a very stereotypical sort of sorry, gender binary type of way. The mother was the one who wore the pants in that relationship.
hundred
And it was
percent.
very clear that the kid feared the mother much more than he feared the father.
Yeah,
At least the father seemed like more of a background character who was just like, I can't believe this shit is happening.
mm,
Whereas the mother was like, this cannot fucking happen now. This is my baby boy. This is my son. This is my whatever. I need to get him out of it. I'm gonna shout at him, but at the end of the day, he's still mine. And I think Ivan knew that. I don't know. There's a part of me because he like as soon as they landed, he turned from this kid who was just like super excited to this kid who's like, oop, this is my. He felt
yeah,
like a puppy going home after fucking chewing through a couch or something. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah,
he was like, this is my mommy and this is my daddy and they're gonna
yeah,
take care of me and I can't do anything that they like. I have to listen to them. I
yeah.
can't do
Because
my own
I'm
thing. I
20
have to listen
whatever,
to
but like
them.
I'm yeah,
Yeah, like and so it felt very childlike from him. But when you were describing Anora's like her belief in the moment in what was going on, I actually think that's kind of in a way this movie might be a coming of age story in that aspect of like I think we've all had our first love, and I'm not saying that Annie loved him. I just mean the experience is similar where you meet someone
mm,
when you're super young, you fall in love head over heels. You know, everyone has that like one first ex that they're like, oh my
yes
God,
sir,
yeah. So
yeah,
I think in a similar way to her, it was her coming of age because I'd imagine for sex workers, this might be like a common thing for every now and then where you might encounter someone who's super wealthy, who's like in a moment of a manic episode and is just like, fuck it, I'm into you. I want to shower you with praise and love. I want to give you all the money you can have. I want to whatever, fly you out. And it's going to be sick. But like, if you're experienced, you know that these men never stick around. And so your level of like understanding of what the situation is would be very different than what Annie was going through. Whereas I
mm,
think at the end of the film now, with this experience, there's not going to be another single scenario, I hope at least, where Annie gets sort of brought into this world of like,
yeah.
this is it. This is my life now. This is going to be super amazing. This is whatever. because I think not just in terms of financially, but also in terms of maturity, especially because like I think with this goon guy, whatever you might have like, whatever thoughts you might have about what like direction the movie goes in afterwards, I think her just encountering him, whether or not they stay together, whether or not whatever fucking happens, I think her just encountering him and having that moment of like somewhat safety to be able to
Mm,
just release and cry and sob in his arms was like, oh, this is what a mature guy actually is like.
yeah.
This is it. He's here, he's focused on me, he's focused on my emotions, he's aware that I've been through too much, and he's just holding me. So I think like both financially and in terms of maturity, like this was a I feel like that was the story of Anora here, where it was like, fuck, life is going to be weird
Yeah.
and fucking crazy, and I need to learn how to like not buy into these moments as much, maybe, which is heartbreaking. Cause shame, it's like why she had a dream, she was
Yeah.
like,
You
fuck,
know, she
like
had a
let her
dream that little
dream,
black boys and white girls.
yeah, oh
Yeah, let
fucking
Annie
hell.
dream.
So yeah, that
Oh,
was
you already got
Anora.
that now. Damn. Okay. Well, the line did get bad. That's fine. I was
You're
like, oh,
like,
you're not laughing. Maybe you didn't find it that funny.
it's the delay. It's the delay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd want to cover?
No, I think this is actually a rewind back to like what we're talking about in the show. But like the privileged people who go into the sauna and stuff, that those chats we were having earlier, immediately after I was in the shower and I'm busy thinking like, what is it like to traverse this world as like the dominant kind of person to be like in this case it's like a cis white guy, like what's it like, because you're oblivious to like unless you care and want to seek out and like listen and hear stories of people who aren't in your position, but if you
Right.
don't, your life is literally just like I don't know what it's like to I don't know what it's like to like not have to like consider racism or homophobia or in a woman's case sexism
Yeah.
or like any of these other isms that like not what's the word, the dominant group of people, I don't know, if you aren't like that guy, those
The
people,
hegemony.
yeah, if you're not the hegemon,
Yeah.
you, but that sounds weird, like I'm talking about a state, but anyway, we know what I was talking about. But if you're not like the hegemon in society or whatever, you like you have other things to consider.
Right.
You have to consider the hegemon. You have to consider
Yeah.
the opinion of like the Mark Tom or whatever his name is. I just made up that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's like not like kind of making an excuse, because it's also like this thing of like, so one of my the tweet I had a tweet yesterday about like a friend of mine who I kind of who likes this other friend of mine, and this other friend went on a date, and I asked him about the date he went on last night, and he was like, shit, she literally just like, we had an argument, I feel like, for the whole 2 hours. It was like a first date, and it was like she literally, I was like pointing out my personality flaws and all these things, and I'm just like, that's interesting, because I kind of like like that's weird, like why is she doing that? Like I don't think he did it. I think that like it could just be a thing about him. Also, she could have like it could not be his fault.
Right.
But like whatever things that she could have picked up or like that she thinks she picked up or whatever could
Yeah.
literally just be because that's how he's experienced the world, and that's
Right.
just how he's continuing to do it. And like if you picked up that like I do X thing or Y thing, like I'm not even saying she was justified. I'm not even saying like just like the brain disease thing of being ultra wealthy. Like
Yes.
you're just like you get told that you're a god. You believe these things about yourself
Yeah.
that people are, or like that your environment is letting you believe, and then I don't know, you just feel free to go through society like that is okay to do, or like you actually like your beliefs, your thoughts, whatever are okay, and like maybe they're not. And like this is not. I don't think you're going to listen to this person if you're listening. I'm not saying this about you. That you, I literally have no idea what her complaints were about you. You didn't tell me, so I'm not, and I have none about you to make at this moment. So this isn't about you, but like I think that's just interesting.
No, I get you. I'm totally with you. Because I wanted to touch on that as well. Like, I think I've now encountered far more people than I expected. So, okay, I feel like I realized a while ago that I was in a bubble, and not just an academic bubble, but also like in terms of my friends. I've tried my best throughout my life, ever since like I would say post high school, to cultivate friendships with people who, even if they aren't politically aligned, or at least weren't politically aligned with me when we first had met, I can tell you for sure now that they are either politically aligned and or are always open to stopping themselves before they say something, and they're like, wait, does that mean what it actually means? Like the other day, for instance, one of my friends said no homo around me. And then he was like, "Oh, sorry." And I was like, "Why are you apologizing to me? Just don't say it." And he was like, "No, no, no. It's just because I know you." And I'm like, "No, this isn't a me thing. Just don't say it because
So the thing is bad.
yeah." I was like, "Don't say it. Like this shouldn't be a me thing."
Yeah.
But I've realized that like, and he isn't the only one. Like, there's been a couple of my other friends who have like noticed have like caught themselves mid conversation about to say something and then be like, "Oh, I'm talking to Mukisa here. Let me rephrase this." And I'm like, I first of all, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I do appreciate it because it means that people are willing to recognize that I'm going to stop them and be like, "Hey, hey, 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 let's discuss this. Let's figure out what you're saying here because you can't just like say that shit around me." So I've realized that that has been the bubble that I've existed in, and especially in like the social sciences, a lot of the people in that building tend to have a similar politics. A lot of them are Marxists. A lot of them are very, leftists. Not just in terms of their work, but also in terms of like what they do outside of it. And so the conversations that we have are all very like quote unquote woke. Like, and I mean that in a very positive sense. They're very woke. Like we genuinely have good conversations and we explore things and we converse. But now, encountering different friend groups, meeting different people, I've realized how much of a bubble that is because I've like slowly but surely been meeting people who have never been confronted in their lives. And it's very clear. Like the first
Tell
time,
us a story.
not even like I'm confronting you as in I'm being like, "Hey, don't say that or don't be rude." No, as in like, what does that mean? What do you mean by that statement? Just a basic question of like, "That's interesting. Why do you think that?" And then suddenly their brain is like, "Oh, hang on. Did I just say something wrong here?"
Yeah.
But I've said this my whole life. I don't understand what I've just done that's wrong here. And I go, I'm not telling you you've done anything wrong. I'm just asking you what you mean. Like, what does that sentence mean?
Yeah, just explain that, please.
And I'm realizing more and more that there's a lot of people, white folks, but also men, who in that privileged state or in that hegemony, as we were talking about, have never had to confront those things because the world doesn't exist in such a way that forces them into that state, right? Like it doesn't allow them the ability to stop and be like, "Wait, hang on, is what I'm saying true, or is what I'm saying just something that I've always repeatedly said and learned, and therefore I think is true?" And so in this moment now, when you were discussing this with me, I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm starting to realize that there's just, I think I think people lack introspection not because they aren't like deep or analytical, but because if the world has been shaped in such a way that confirms or affirms your mode of existence, what is the reason to be introspective?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
what is stopping you from just like continuing on as is? Like we were saying earlier with the consequences thing, it's like if you don't have any consequences, what is stopping you? If immaturity doesn't lead to anything bad, why stop being immature, right? So I think maybe I don't know, maybe it's an age thing, maybe it's a space thing, but like I think more and more now as I've gotten older, I've noticed that a lot more people are now encountering, especially single people, are encountering this on dates where a few of my friends who will be like, "This guy was like really hot and he was like super charming, but then he brought up some bullshit about like, I don't know, masculine energy," and I was like, "Oh, this
What are you
feels a bit
talking about?
Do you know what I mean though? Like those little things where it's like,
Yeah.
where it's like, ooh, ooh, that's no,
That's
that's not
that's a
something.
whistle.
Yeah,
Is that a dog
yeah,
whistling?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, are you? And I actually think it's like, I don't know, it's this weird little space because it's like, even if you as the guy in that moment who is now saying that red flaggy shit, if you're completely unaware that what you're saying is red flaggy shit and why it's red flaggy shit, then you're gonna be like, "Well, what the fuck? She just, I don't know. I guess she just didn't like me. I guess I don't know. I guess my personality was just too much for her or whatever." Like, and then it starts
She
to
had an
become
agenda.
right. Like, and I think that's interesting. I think a lot of people are struggling with that introspection, and for me individually, it's been really like it's jolted me back into like awareness that because of the way that I've shaped my life and social circles, I tend to just like speak calmly, casually, not just about race, but also about the queer community, about trans folks, about like I'm like, yeah, they should just let, and then you'll have like an Uber driver be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? And I go, whoa, that's not what I expected. And then I
Yeah.
realize, oh, this might just be a deeply conservative fucking whatever guy. And I've just like said this casually as though this is like an everyday normal whatever without forgetting that the culture war has made this into some fucking, battle at the front of their mind, that like it's like this trigger word or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, it's just been really interesting to experience that. I'm wondering if you've experienced that. Not, I don't mean with like, it sounds like I'm coming for Uber drivers. I'm not. I've had some fantastic conversations with Uber drivers. I mean, people in general. A lot of the people have actually been people of my age, similar social like surroundings, like friends of friends, and that's why it's been so shocking to me because it's like, oh, you're low-key a transphobe, and I didn't expect that because like everyone around me has actually been very pro-trans. So it's just like a sudden like, oh, Mukisa, you can't just like operate on that base level assumption because that's not true for everybody, and it's been a bit strange. Anyway, how's your experience been with that?
I guess I don't necessarily. Maybe I'm fortunate in the sense that like the people I hang around with, there's probably a queer person there, or like one of them probably saw one the other day, or like I think that like that's like fine. That's not. I think the where I get these things is when I'm at gym and I'm in the sauna and I hear
Right.
someone say something stupid, to call it that lightly. Um, but I mean sometimes I'm in the conversation and then someone says like I was in the conversation with a new friend of mine. And he has a son who recently, sorry, he has a child who recently they recently came out as trans and as non-binary. And we're talking about just how that adjustment was. And then this other gent walks in the bathroom into the sauna. And he just like so he talks the parent he talks about how there were a lot of kids at this person's school who were also at that point coming out, and the other guy was like, oh no, that's bullshit. Like this is like insane. Like what are these kids doing? Like they're just copying their friends, whatever. And I was just like, why would you
What?
copy someone coming like why is that something that you like? Do you know how shit we are to trans people?
Right.
Why would you copy someone just to fit? Like, why would that be fitting in? Like, why? Like there are so many other friend groups who are anti-child. Like, your child is not like
Holy
no
shit,
person
man.
is like I'm going to identify with this group that is like so marginalized in
Right.
large parts of society, so they can fit in. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? And we're talking about
Yeah.
like
Like, what is the logic
because I
here?
mean, I do like I hear some chats about like maybe it's too early to do like a full hormonal transition to a child, because they might like whatever change their mind. But I'm also like I hear that, but you can't be going through that on a sense with like the first thing you're thinking is that like oh they're gonna change their mind. I think you should be supporting them through what
Yes.
they're doing, and if you have concerns, don't share them in a way that is like this isn't the dad wasn't sharing these concerns. This is this other person who does not have a
Right.
trans or non-binary child.
Right.
But I'm just like, you want to support your child because at the end of the day, like suicide rates are insane for trans people.
Insanely
And you don't
high.
want your child to be one of those numbers.
Yeah.
So you being like, no, you're just in your head, you're just
Yeah.
copying your friends or whatever, you could be risking the life of your child. Not like
Yeah.
it's not your fault that your child ended up doing that if they do end up doing that. But you didn't contribute to them not doing it. You didn't contribute
Right.
to them showing
Precisely.
that, life can get better. Life, people will accept you. People will do these things.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like, it's just a lack of care, I think. I don't know how I got here. Oh, we have ever been in these situations. Yeah, I think people just don't care about people. I think, and
I
that's
think
really
so too.
tragic.
I think so too. And I think like
It fucking sucks.
and I think like even outside of the trans like example, just even racially as well. Like
Yeah.
I've encountered one too many folks. Being back in South Africa has really been interesting. I've encountered one too many white folks who use this sort of like liberal type of language of like them and those spaces and stereotypes and this type of nice white people language that like almost tries to like obscure what the person is really like under like the underlying truth of what it is that they're saying. And it's like, hey man, like we know what you're saying and that's really shitty. And it like for me it often sucks that like nobody up until this point in your life, like up until you've encountered me, unless they have and you've just carried on that way, that nobody's kind of stopped you and been like, hey, that's a shitty thing to say. Maybe don't say that because this is what it means. That sucks to me because it's like, how have you been allowed to go on this long, like just saying shit like this, dude? It's the strangest thing for me.
It's not on.
Yeah, it's like it's these things that like start to bother me, but I also realize that like I think people are just not as curious, and this is why I think this is also a callback to the intellectually lazy thing. I think people are lacking that curiosity to be able to be like, hang on. What I just said, I mean, might be true, but it might not be true. So let me not just like plant my flag here and say it, right? And be like very confidently and brazen about it. Because like that's just wrong. Because sometimes I said this to the other day, I was like, sometimes I feel like I'm the shitty one at the party who like stops someone from saying something. And then everyone's like, oh, now it's a downer because this person said a sentence. And it's like, no, but that sentence was the shitty thing.
Yeah.
Me correcting them is not the shitty part here. This shouldn't be like...
And also, we can be adults and mature and be like, oh, what I said was wrong. Okay, I won't do it again. Let's move on and have a good time. Doesn't have to... Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. You know, Dr. Doofenshmirtz or whatever the fuck.
Dude, I had this one encounter. Sorry, this is... because we're going... I think it's... Yeah, we've gone on for a while. I had this one encounter in Stellenbosch in my I think it was my third or fourth honors year, and it was at a house party, and I think I was one of maybe 3 black people at this house party. It was a digs party, bunch of white people. In Stellenbosch, digs parties are not very heavily populated with black folk.
Really?
Yeah, because they found their own like spaces, like clubs to go to, own friends, own whatever's like, and digs parties weren't that. I think they are now. But I think in my time it was very different because like we've said in an episode before, the stats have changed significantly. So there's far more black people at Stellenbosch now than there used to be. But in my time, which was literally like 4 years ago.
Was it? When was your first year?
My first year was 2017. So my third year would have been 2020. Oh, fuck. That's 5 years ago. Good Lord.
No, I'm saying your first year. Your first year.
My
like,
first...
bro, do you know how old we are?
Yeah.
We're almost hitting 10 years out of high school.
Don't start that
That's
shit.
Like next year.
Don't start that shit.
Like it's crazy.
That's insane, man. Oh my God. Anyway, at this party, this one white guy comes up to me. He doesn't know me. He goes, how's it, bro? How you doing? And I go, no, I'm well. How you doing? And he's like, no, I'm so good. It's so nice to see you here. And I'm like, have we met? He's like, no. I just mean like, because like, bro, there's
a black person here.
No, he
That's
literally
not
goes,
stuff.
He literally goes, word for word, I shit you not. I've seared this moment in my brain. He goes, bro, because like there's not many black oaks here. It's nice to see you here. And I go, what? And he goes, no, look
You're
around,
a novelty,
bro.
Mukisa.
He was like, no, look around, bro. There's no black oaks here, and it's really nice to see a black guy here. Like, it's really nice that you've come out, bro.
I did not realize that, really.
Yeah, like, whoa, holy shit.
I thought they're all in the bathroom. That fucking explains it.
Well, they should have been like, no, there's a bus of us coming
I didn't
soon,
get the group chat message.
And he starts this whole like discussion about like, I mean, I'm being light by saying it's a discussion. Also, he was purse drunk by this point, but it doesn't matter. The point still stands.
Was his name Christian? Oh, okay. Keep going.
So he goes, yeah, bro, so it's nice to see black oaks here because, like, you know, Stellenbosch gets this reputation about being racist, but like, you're so chilled, bro. I haven't said a word,
you're so chilled?
by the way, at this point.
What do you mean you're so chilled?
Yeah, he was saying this to me.
Yeah, but like, what? Like, why is it? Like, why would I be the not
Like,
chill
what
one?
is
You
it
just said
about
about
this?
Stellenbosch being racist, but I'm so
Yeah,
chill.
like-
Why am I the thing that is so chill? Like, why is that? Like,
Yeah, what is it about me here that's like Dude, this whole encounter was fucking crazy to me. So he goes, "But you're so chilled, bro." And I go, I literally said to him, I was like, "Man, I met you like 2 minutes ago. How do you know that?" He's like, "No, but your vibe, it seems cool. It seems chilled, bro. Like we're just here to party." And I go, "Hey, man, I'm just here to party. I don't want to talk about the black white shit." And he goes, "No, bro. I'm not trying to make this a race thing, bro. I'm not trying to." And I'm like, "But we're talking about black people, right? Like that's
Wait,
that's what
you're
you
not trying to
just
make a
said."
race thing. No, that's fine. That's what you said. That's what you said. You started with that. You started with
It's like
it bigger.
this
You
is-
made it a race thing. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It
this
was
is the whole
literally there was
conversation.
nothing before it was a
There
race
was
thing. It was nothing, and then it was a
nothing
race thing.
happening. Yeah, and then it was a race thing. I don't know you. You came and spoke to me. Where is this coming from? And so he goes, no, bro, I'm just trying to be a nice host. I'm trying to. And then at this point, I think it was either our mutual friend who you can bleep out. He sees what's happening now, and then
I
as
love
well.
how you didn't call our mutual friend, but keep talking. But to be fair, like I don't think that would be a fair thing to say.
Okay, fair. Okay, fair.
But anyway,
Okay, fair. Well, someone we both know, he sees this happening. He comes along and then he starts chatting to the guy, trying to get him to like move off. But the guy just refuses. And then eventually I'm like, "Listen, man, I'm here to party, to get drunk, to have a good time. And what you're doing is not allowing that to happen." And he goes, "No, but why don't you want to just have a conversation?" It's like, "You've had the conversation. That's fine. I get you. It's all good." And he's like, and you know when drunk people like get persistent, sometimes the best thing to do is to just be like, "Okay, cool, thanks, man. Enjoy.
Yeah.
I understand you. I get you.
100%. You just give
That's
in and you're
eventually
like,
what
"Sure,
I did.
yeah,
I was,
hundies."
yeah. I was just like, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It's so sick that all these black folks are like coming to these things now, bro. It's fucking cool. Aware. No, cool. Chill, man. Amazing. Enjoy your time." Like, to me, it's insane that guy could have that conversation and walk away from it. Even if he's drunk or not, I think it's wild to have that conversation, like to walk up to someone and just start speaking like that. And it bothers me so much that like not a single person in your life up until this point has like stopped you from doing that or has like stopped that from happening. Maybe they have. And now that you're drunk, your
maybe
racist
maybe this
tendencies
is the
have
first
come up.
time he's had this encounter.
Honestly,
Like,
I
maybe it's just
genuinely
been,
think
like-
that's what was happening.
He's like, all the parties I've ever been, like the only time I see black people is when they're doing something for me.
Right.
So like,
So-
I don't really see them as equals.
Yeah,
so now
yeah.
you're here as an equal, and that is novel to me.
That's not
so I just
normal.
want to like express that to you.
Yeah.
But this is not a race thing. Don't worry.
Don't worry, this isn't a race thing. Man. This is not a race thing.
Oh my god.
So it's those moments where I go, I think that like when we talk about white privilege, when we talk about male privilege, it's those things that one doesn't have to think about because they're like no real consequences to those actions until, of course, somebody presents you with those consequences that really get to me and bother me. And I think people just like the reason why there's a lot of lack of introspection for a lot of men, actually, and now we're seeing obviously with this male loneliness epidemic stuff and all of that stuff that's happening.
That's so boring. That whole thing is so boring. Also, like
It really is.
yeah, man. But like, fucking, like, get like, I just be. Also, you can just be alone. Yeah, make a whole thing about it. Just be alone. Like, like, what are you going on about? Like, and it's like these white guys who are like,
Yes.
oh no, like, well, I'm like, bro, like, just be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be
It's
fine. Chill,
Life
relax.
is not
like,
going to fucking end because you're on your own. Like, no one's like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing here? This is
like your friends are playing fucking Steam, jerk off. I
Yes.
know, like, live your
Figure your
life.
shit out, man.
Find things to do. Find a hobby. You know, be
Yeah.
a human being. Because you know what, we all get lonely. We all get bored. We're all like, oh, what do I do? And then we don't make a whole epidemic
Right,
about it.
right.
And then make it like everyone's concerned. And then like like why?
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
Like there's so many like men who have been marginalized, just like who aren't white, who are just a part of a marginalized group, who have been lonely in
Yes.
like groups in places where white men aren't lonely. Places where
Absolutely
like
right.
you know, if you're like the minority in a white school or whatever,
Right.
or like and you feel left out, like all these like different, and also just being a human being in general.
Yes.
Like and just like I don't know, you have those feelings where like oh, everyone's busy,
Right.
or like oh I can't really like hang out, or like. You're just human. You're just living the human experience.
Yeah.
And like I don't know why you're centering around male, not you, but why it's being like this male loneliness epidemic.
Yes.
Whatever. Like they aren't there. Like,
Yeah, like why we're making it
like
into
no,
a
they
thing.
like yeah no yeah.
No, I'm with you. And it's like I think I think those men in particular, especially, they like because they're being intellectually lazy, it allows them to just like make up these bullshit excuses that like, oh, women, oh, society is falling out of the bracket of like
So fucking
traditional
lazy.
roles and all that shit. And
Now that you have
it's
to
so
compete,
lazy,
you're like, oh,
man.
it's unfair.
Yeah, suddenly it's unfair, and it's like, come on, man. Come on. Like, please. I'm tired of hearing this bullshit. It's the same shit I hear from some white folk who feel like BEE or like DEI is somehow taking away from them. It's like, yeah, man, listen, what you're losing is the privilege. You're not losing access. You're losing the privilege to that access. Like,
Yeah.
like that's what you're moaning about.
Using the privileged part of that access. You still have the access, you're just not privileged about it. Like, that's the thing.
Right. And so it's like, I don't need to hear that shit. I don't need to hear that shit.
But you know what?
What's up?
You know, I think we can say that it's not their fault. I think we can say that like we must do whatever we can to support them as a society. And there's nothing else to say. I think you should read us out or speak us out because we don't have a script to read us out.
We don't have a script. Well, thank you so much for joining us on episode 16, listeners. It's really great to be back. It's awesome to see how many of you actually listened to the last one. I was looking at the stats.
I haven't seen the stats. What
You
are they?
should
Are they
check out the
good?
stats. I think they're pretty decent. I mean, we have 34 downloads from the last episode. The last time I checked.
Oh, that's nice.
This was the day after we released. So I'm like, that's really solid.
Yeah.
So thank you, listeners.
Keep loving listening
We
us.
really appreciate it. Keep listening. Keep going. We love the support. And we will be trying to get more episodes out to you guys. But for now, Akha, do you want to say a final word to the listeners?
A final word to the listeners.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. And thems. And girls.
And then we cut it off. Like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, okay. That's good. I'm happy with that. You happy to stop recording?
Yeah.
For my life, can't say that, girl. Don't tell me you could say that shit. All she want is payback for the way I always play that shit. You ain't getting nothing that I'm saying. Don't tell me you nothing like them other motherfuckers. I could make you rich. I could make you rich. I could make you this, baby. I could make you that. I could take you there, but baby,